For almost 2 decades, Wicked has captivated audiences and redefined Broadway. But how well does this translate from stage to screen? Let's break it down and see. The movie does a great job at expanding on the Broadway musical by adding new scenes, character backstories, and world building. So we're going to look at how they expanded and the differences between the stage musical and the movie. And the key thing that allows for a more in-depth exploration of the characters and the world of Oz is that the movie, which only covers Act 1 of the musical, is longer than the entire Broadway show. So the first major difference between the stage musical and the movie provided a backstory for Elphaba. This was done beautifully with the flashbacks to Elphaba's childhood, showing us what her life was like growing up, even showing a glimpse of her powers from a young age. They also introduced a new character, Dulcibert, who is present when Elphaba is born and takes responsibility for raising her after her father, the governor of Munchkinland, is just horrified that she's green and doesn't want anything to do with her. Introducing this new character does so much for the progression of the story. Dulcibert provides a backstory for why Elphaba is so concerned about animals being removed from society and losing the ability to speak, which is a major plot point in the film and the musical. I absolutely love that they included the young Elphaba scenes because you can see the impact that Dulcibert had on Elphaba and why Elphaba is so passionate about animals and her future motives. The movie delves deeper into the theme of animal rights, showing how animals were once respected scholars at Shiz University. Unlike the stage musical, Dr. Dillerman is a part of an animal resistance movement. So the movie introduces those other animals in the group who are also fighting for their rights, which is also not in the musical. By widening the scope and introducing the other animals, it triggers a deeper care for the animals and more payoff. When it comes to the visuals, the Broadway version relies on painted backdrops, practical sets, mechanical effects to create the Land of Oz. CGI is of course utilized to create a more expansive and immersive Land of Oz, which allows for those larger scale environments like Shiz University and Emerald City. Let's take a look at the Defying Gravity scene. In the stage musical, Elphaba's flight is achieved using wires, lighting effects, making it theatrical and symbolic. In the movie, with CGI, Elphaba's levitating looks a little more weightless and fluid, and special effects can be used to elevate the intensity of the energy of her levitating. So overall, the movie will by default feel a little more immersive and fantasy-like, while the stage musical really nurtures that charm of a live performance. These differences can clearly impact the audience's emotional experience, so let me know down below what your experience was seeing both the movie and the musical, and if you preferred one over the other. The movie also allows more time to get to know the show's supporting cast, including Fiyero, played by Jonathan Bailey, as well as Elphaba's sister, Nessa Rose, played by Marissa Bode, who, by the way, made history as the first ever physically disabled person to play Nessa. And I love that representation for wheelchair users and that she's able to bring direct experience to the character. In the Broadway musical, Elphaba is already enrolled at Shiz University as a way to help take care of her sister Nessa Rose, but in the film, she's just there to drop her off. But when Madame Morrible sees her display her power, she insists that Elphaba enroll. Now, one of the differences I've seen with Madame Morrible's character, played by Michelle Yeoh, in the movie, Madame Morrible is portrayed as a more manipulative and power-hungry figure with motives to use others to achieve her goals. Whereas in the musical, she's portrayed as more of a traditional mentor, nurturing Elphaba's talents. Both the musical and the movie include a love triangle between Glinda, Elphaba, and Fiyero. However, Fiyero's introduction and how he meets Elphaba do differ from stage to screen. In the musical, his carriage almost runs her over when he's dropped off at Shiz by his servant. In the movie, he almost tramples over Elphaba in the woods while riding his horse near the university. And since they had this moment prior in the woods, it aids in the story development of these two characters. The music was pretty much kept the same, but the one song that changed the most was One Day. This song was extended to give more of a backstory and explore the wizard's role in the prophecy surrounding the Grimoire book. Here, the Wizard of Oz, played by Jeff Goldblum, claims he has been the only person to be able to read it, which we later find out is not true, as he cannot read it, and only Elphaba can. The movie also introduces more scenes that explore the initial tension and competition between Elphaba and Glinda, including instances of Glinda's jealousy over Elphaba's perceived advantages, especially with Madame Morrible taking a liking to Elphaba. On the other hand, the musical focuses more on the quick development of their friendship with less emphasis on the initial rivalry. Also, the movie explores Glinda's privileged status within Oz's social hierarchy, which is a reflection of a society that Elphaba actively rebels against, whereas the musical focuses more on the core narrative and musical numbers, with less emphasis on Glinda's character. Another key thing about One Day is that the new section is sung by Broadway's original Elphaba and Glinda, Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth. In the movie, their new characters are called the Wiz-O-Mania Superstars. So these characters are not in the musical, but it's so cool that they make an appearance and it's so nostalgic. Another concept that's introduced in the movie is the different narrative origin created for the Yellow Brick Road. In the stage musical, the Yellow Brick Road is a pre-existing element of Oz, and it's mentioned in the song Wonderful as something he planned to build long before Elphaba and Glinda meet him. In the movie, there's a scene where the wizard shows Elphaba and Glinda a model of his vision for Oz, and even asked them to help him decide on the color of the main road, in which they chose yellow. And so I thought this was a really cool and fun element that they added. Elphaba's big musical number is a little more stretched out in the movie, with it being 14 minutes long, and the musical only 6 minutes. And also, a moment is added in the movie where she sees a flashback of a younger version of herself, and her younger self reach for each other's hands, which comes in the form of encouragement for her to fly away. And this was such an emotional moment. This is not included in the musical, and I thought it was a nice touch. And another small difference that I noticed, the movie includes a scene of Elphaba's father's death and Nessa Rose's reaction to this. This is done off stage in the play, so it's not even included. So that was also another little small touch that they added that I liked. Even though this was 2 hours and 40 minutes, it actually didn't feel that long to me. I think the story progressed pretty evenly. And a quick shout out to the crew, the production, everything was beautiful, and a special shout out to the cast, Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Bailey, Jeff Goldblum, Peter Dinklage. It just was so many amazing actors in this movie, and I think they all did a phenomenal job, and they captured the essence of the story so well. Overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it did a great job at expanding and adding more depth to the scenes while also keeping the integrity and magic of the musical. I think one of my favorite moments was the flashback to Elphaba's childhood. It provided another layer to the story, and it makes you care even more for Elphaba's character. I'm so looking forward to part 2 in November and can't wait to see all the new magic they bring and what else they expand on. Let me know your thoughts on this movie and what you're looking forward to seeing in part 2. My name is Kamara. Thank you for watching another episode of Screen Diaries. Take care. Bye.